Hi, my name is Vitaly Sharavatov and I'm a developer advocate at Qase. Just an hour ago, I and Opam and Maria recorded another episode for BeyondQuality community of practice with awesome Mike Jarrett. And the topic of the podcast was economics of testing. So I wanted to share you why I wanted this topic to be discussed and why I think it's important for the whole testing community. First, I see a lot people saying that manual testing is dead, or everything should be automated, or the exploratory testing is the way to go. And yet, so it seems like there is a good progress on a good amount of information on how to do testing. And yet we see our beloved products getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, doesn't it?
We see testing theater a lot and cargo class implementation. For instance, I've seen a startup where they decided they would automate everything, even though the amount of automatable scenarios in the product was very low. And I believe that we as testers all care for quality, and we also care for our professional work, for the professional ethics that we have. We want to work in companies where quality is respected, where we can be proud of the products that we're building. So from one side, I see many people talking about testing, and many people doing some testing. From another side, I see many products getting worse and worse with time. So I believe that it's important not to wait for our managers to come up with efficient testing strategies. I think that first step can be ours. The initiative can be ours. I also see that many testers and engineers and developers like to speak about the technical nuances. But if you think about an engineer who is like a civil engineer, who's like building bridges, they always first consider budget constraints. They always consider geological nuances of the place where the bridge will be built. They don't just work with the materials they like. They don't choose, let's say, a framework they like. No, they choose frameworks and tools which are most suitable for the business case at hand. And I would say that economics and budgeting and finance is the core common language that we testers, engineers, managers can share to have some meaningful discussions, to have some good progress on what we're doing. And also I would say that if we testers step in and start speaking about the economics, start showing that we can help our business, not by just covering some test cases and running them, but also by improving the quality of the whole product, we will have better job security and better career growth. And also we can be more proud of what we're building. So this was the reason why I started the research on economics of testing. I believe that economics should be the common shared language for everyone. Engineers, testers, managers. And so far, what I have proposed in this research is the following vocabulary, and you can call it a grammar. First, that testing is a part of an investment in our quality. We spend money now to reduce the probability and the negative outcomes of risks if they happen. In order to do that properly, I think we first need to gather every single stakeholder or stakeholder representative from our company, be it customer success, marketing, sales, development, finance. We need to ask them to express their fears, express the fears of negative situations which might happen in the future, things that we are afraid as a company we can face. Then we can convert those fears into risks, come up with a risk register, where each fear, it might be even irrational fear, like a meteorite hits the earth. So this fear can be converted into risk. And then we can ask those stakeholders to quantify risks, to estimate what is the negative outcome, how much it's going to cost us. For instance, with engineering, it's very simple. If we are speaking about time to market or cycle time or anything like that, we're speaking essentially about cost of delay. So we can partner up with engineering and product to ask them how much money do they think the company would lose if our time to market grows significantly. This is the risk the internal risk that we can have from slowing down of the development. We can do the same with customer success. We can ask them, do you fear that every single new request that comes to your department from our users and customers will increase your load non-linearly, like the load will increase significantly? And if so, how can you quantify this risk? So if we gather these fears and convert them into risks, we can have a list of prioritized risks with the estimate, with the quantification of how much this risk will cost us. Maybe some legal risk can even cost us the loss of the whole business. And we can then use ISO family of standards to help us build this risk register, because they have a good vocabulary there. We ask the people, the stakeholders, to prioritize risks. We get like a spreadsheet of risks and their financial quantification. Essentially, we ask them to prioritize where we should invest more in quality assurance and testing. And again, it's very simple. If we have a risk that our users cannot use our products anymore because of a bug, it can be mapped to a certain quality characteristic from an ISO set of quality characteristics. And it becomes beautiful. This risk register becomes a list of prioritized quality characteristics that we care the most for. And then from that, we can easily start converting these quality characteristics into testing activities, testing types, testing methods, and then suddenly our discussion about automation or manual or exploratory or unit or mobbing or whatever, any QA measures can be then mapped to the risks that the managers signed off, the managers agreed about the priority. Then, for us, it's very easy to advocate for investing into reducing those risks, investing into testing with those testing types, testing activities, testing methods, quality measures, etc. As soon as we have agreed on that, we can start investing, spend half a year, 3 months investing money and effort into reducing those risks. Then we can review our risk register with the same stakeholders and ask them if they feel that their fears are reduced, if they are not afraid as much as they were before. And this essentially will gain us very good authority and credibility within the company, because we are showing that we are investing into something managers are afraid of, and we are reducing those risks with our efforts invested. So this research that I have just completed, I think shows a very good framework of thought of how you can approach things I've just described. Now, this research will be evergreen. Next stages for me would be to add a topic on reducing costs. This is an evergreen topic in management. Every single manager I know of wants to reduce costs. Unfortunately, quite often this means that the manager will try to cut on testing or cut on development or cut on anything which is really useful. So I will introduce cost of quality framework to help managers make good decisions on cutting costs. This doesn't mean firing people. This doesn't mean cutting testing altogether. This means that we will have a shared framework of reasoning for costs. And another huge area of research that I will be adding to this artifact is the whole social aspect. Because if you are to bring stakeholders to a discussion, regardless of how rational your economical justifications and proposals will be, sometimes if your authority in the company is not significant, managers simply won't listen to you. You can even hear sometimes things like, "This is not your job. Go do something else. Go do your job." So the whole approach of gaining trust and credibility and authority within the company is a huge area of research that I will be adding to this particular artifact. If you're interested, please listen to BeyondQuality podcast and join the research. Thank you.